Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our quick publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Euro Incision podcast, your stop for all things Champions League related. And my word, it's great talking about the Reds in Europe, because in the league it's been no fun. I have the pleasure of that as well. But 3-0 away to Ajax, quite a flattering result. And joining me on this podcast is the usual, the constant. It's Guy Drinkel. Guy, welcome back.
Good to be back, and well, the Champions League seems to be a nice little escape, and well, apart from Napoli, obviously.
Yes.
But it's quite an uplifting time. Midweek games nowadays.
Absolutely. I mean, the Napoli game just keeps us a little bit humble, doesn't it, in terms of what the Reds are capable of producing even in Europe. Right, let's get into this, guys. So, Liverpool versus Ajax. Liverpool were going into the game. I was you would think that Liverpool could beat this Ajax team, but after what I saw of the weekend, I can't lie, like the nerves very much creeped in for me, and I wasn't filled with confidence, albeit we looked so comfortable against them at Anfield. So I want to get your initial thoughts. Just going into this game, how did you feel?
When your team's just lost to Nottingham Forest, as you say, you can't really go into anything too confident, but I was expecting somewhat of a turnaround, because the Forest game was just that terrible in so many ways. But I wasn't. It was such an odd game, as we'll get into. But I was expecting Klopp to maybe play the experienced heads. I was expecting Milner and Henderson in midfield. We got one of them. I was maybe expecting us to go back to the 4-3-3, which, well, we nearly did, because we played 4-3 something. But I was expecting the experienced lads in. Hopefully that would have calmed us down, which they obviously didn't calm us down for the first 30 minutes or so. But yeah, I think my overwhelming thoughts is that Carl lied to me when we initially previewed Ajax. So
you're not going to let that go, are you?
I will never let that go, because he put the fear of God in me, and even we beat them. Like, if Rangers beat them next week, would anyone be surprised? But no, I think as soon as I realised it was Ajax and the game settled in, I thought I was fine, to be honest.
I like it. I like the fact that you won't let Carl off the hook as well. Yeah, of course, the team lineup. I was thinking maybe an experienced head as well. I couldn't see him doing the whole Jones, Carvalho and Elliott thing, and with the injuries and the crisis, and obviously the news that we had about Thiago, that he's still not match fit, injured. So I was fully expecting like a Henderson to come in, not out of like a choice. It was more like we need a little bit of experience in there. It made complete sense. So the starting lineup: Alisson, Becker, Robertson, Van Dijk, Gomez, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Fabinho and Henderson. It looked like Elliott and Nunes out wide, Firmino and Salah central, but it was a bit of a strange setup. But let's talk about this game, because like you said, and you alluded to this, because it took Liverpool like 30 minutes to settle in, and my word, there were some early scares, and Berghuis, I hope I said that right, gave us a couple of early scares, taking that confidence from the weekend, because I think he bagged a brace for Ajax over the weekend. But there were some quite nervy, scary moments in the first 30 in the first 30 minutes. And what kind of things kind of stood out to you? Because obviously his chances were quite concerning to me. The fact that Firmino was really, really deep, we couldn't get the ball to our front men. We were really, really, I'd say, careless in possession as well. We were like playing really loose passes, and when we get the ball, we'd play a dodgy pass to each other, and we'd lose the ball again. It was just very, it felt very disorientated the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was just general sloppiness, wasn't it?
Mm, mm.
It was a mix of passiveness, sloppiness, and just a lack of quality, and it was just really odd. I think that Bergey's chance where he hit the post at the start, maybe
Mm-hmm.
that would have changed the entire game if that went in.
Yes.
Um, yeah, it was just it's boring talking about the midfield now because everyone sees the issues there.
Yeah.
But we had Fabinho 80 yards of space and no one else. It was like I know he's playing like he's kind of broken at the minute, but it's like not one person on this earth could do that. Maybe Kante against Liverpool because that's the only time he's ever fit. Um, but it was just really odd because Henderson was basically playing left wing, Elliot was playing right wing, and it was just so odd that basically everyone in the Ajax team was a midfielder apart from Broby, and everyone was just picking up spaces everywhere in that first 30 minutes, and we just got overwhelmed in that area, and they just kept running off the back of us, and I think we saw that quite often in that first part. Um, but yeah, it was just even on the ball. I think the chance that just went wide of the right hand post
Mm-hmm.
when Trent
Yes.
tried a square ball, and it was just like Trent, mate, come on. You're like defending we can accept because you give us other stuff, but you're screwing up a 10-yard sideways pass. Are you? What are you doing? It was just like what is happening to this team in front of our eyes, and stuff like that was just. It's nice to see we can flip a switch and turn into a competent team, but to know we have this level in a must not lose game is it is bloody concerning. Because albeit I talked down Ajax there, they could have been 2 or 3-0 up, and then we weren't coming back from that.
Yeah, you know what, nail on the head there, absolute nail on the head. And you're speaking about Trent there as well. And at one point they're on a counter on us 3 versus 1, and if it wasn't for Trent's kind of block, and I don't think he
Yes.
just threw his body in front of the ball, didn't he? But those moments were like pretty much game defining because you're spot on. Because if the Berghuis, I mean, I do pronounce his name horribly, I do apologize, people, but if his chance goes in early, I think that's Liverpool's head's gone, like literally. And the home crowd, they're in some great form in the league. They want to get their, like they get the momentum. They're on the front foot, and you look back now and you think, thank God they didn't go in, and you're absolutely grateful for it. But yeah, you're right. It was just absolute sloppiness as a whole, and obviously players weren't getting involved, and I felt like oh gosh, is this another game where we're not going to see much of Mo Salah, and it was quite concerning. And obviously Darwin Núñez was trying to put in a shift on the left. I think their player Timber was having a really, really good game. Robbery, to me that is such a tongue twister, by the way, because I want to say Bobby and Robbie at the same time. But Robbie, was trying to cause Joe Gomez a load of nightmares, and there was just a lot. And they came into that game with like a fair bit of confidence. They came out with how they wanted to. It wasn't, like you said, it was just passiveness and sloppiness from Liverpool. But after 30 minutes, and you touched on this, but then I kind of noticed that, we kind of got like, we started playing passes to each other, and we were in their half, and that was a little promising because before that point, I think they had 5 shots and we had 0 shots.
Yeah, we almost killed the game, didn't we? It was just like, right, lads, you will keep the ball between our 5 defensive players, and it just seemed to give us somewhat of confidence on the ball, and it was basically baby stepping our way into the game. It
It
felt like,
reminded me a bit of Man City, that I can't lie.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
almost kill them with boredom type thing. Which Man City do every week to everyone they're playing and everyone who watches. Um, but it really was. It was just like, okay, we literally are struggling to make a 2-yard pass, as I said with the Trent thing,
Mm.
and we just passed it Fabinho, Henderson, Fabinho, and we needed that. We needed that. We
Back
couldn't
to
just go.
basics, yep.
Yeah. We just couldn't go from that to Mo Salah's pass to Elliot later on. We couldn't just make that instant click of the fingers, we're mint again. So it was nice to see us take control of the game because we know how Ajax play. I mean, we obviously don't watch them week to week, but we know Eredivisie Ajax, they dominate every game, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
So to just take control of a game like that, kill it like that, then the last 5, 10 minutes of the half, we start getting the chances. Obviously, we had the goal itself.
Let's talk about the goal. Come on then, talk to me about that, because you know what, it went in and it was absolutely delightful. I mean, Hendo there, the outside of his foot, just hooking it in. Mo Salah dinks it off the keeper, but defensively it was an absolute shambles. But it felt like it came out of nothing, because I wasn't expecting that kind of quality from Liverpool, given how they were playing. Like you said, they were taking baby steps and then they just turned that switch on.
Yeah, absolutely, and I don't know where their defence was.
Oh my God, yes.
But Mo was just like, am I offside here?
Defending, and one can relate to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just strange, but it was really nice by Henderson.
Yeah.
Nice show of strength by him, because he has been starting to get knocked off the ball quite a bit in recent times. So I can't remember the defender. I think it was maybe Sanchez by position, at right back. So he just kind of spins him or just bullies him off the ball. Outside the foot pass, it's a really nice pass, but the space Mo Salah in it kind of does the pass discredit, because it's like, could I do that if there was nobody there? I obviously couldn't, because I'm dreadful at football. That's why I talk about it.
And I felt like Henderson had loads of time to look up as well. I mean, I know players look up to see, but he had more time to look up, if that makes sense.
It was like a training session goal. It was like
slow motion.
We're going to practice counter-attacks here, lads. So defenders, you just bugger off for a bit. And they did. But no, it was really nice round-all play by both the lads. Pass via the lad who nobody had ever heard of before this season, who came out of nowhere, had a bit of a mare, but this goal, I think you got to put on the defence rather than him, because Bassey's left more completely on his own. The left back's just Blind, I'm guessing, was at left back at that time, not picking up more. But we literally had 2 threats in the game, or 3 threats in the game with Bobby as well as the 2 strikers, and to leave Mo Salah, who was the best player in the world at this time last year, on his own. It's just, wow. Yeah, I want to start watching Eredivisie games, because if that's how you can defend and win the league comfortably, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Or just goes to show that where would Ajax be if they were actually situated in this league? Mind you, like, this league is a bit shambolic as well, but I guess, teams do have a bit more of a cutthroat edge, and you are encountered to an odd upset here and there. Nottingham Forest looking at you. Right, let's carry on moving on, because after that, my word, it could have been 2-0. Nunes, I mean, the again, quality of play. I mean, the ball to Gomez, was it to Robbo?
I think it was to Robbo, yeah.
Robbo to Firmino. Firmino just plays his beautiful square pass, and Darwin Nunes, my word, I mean, what an absolute sitter, like a tapping for him, and obviously it clips the crossbar. And I want to get your thoughts on this. I want you to talk about that, because I've got a little question for you here. Which one was worse for you, that one or Sikan's sitter for Shakhtar?
Oh, God.
I was actually debating this. I'm going to ask Guy.
Oh, that's a tough one, because they're both dreadful. It's got to be the Shakhtar one.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair to Darwin, not to be fair, he should have scored 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000. The Shakhtar one is the worst.
Yeah, no defenders around him, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like, no one around him.
It wasn't even coming at him at any pace. It's just the worst first touch I've ever seen in the history of football.
Yeah.
And it's a first touch that becomes a shot, which becomes a goal kick. It was just, oh God, that was just fantastically dreadful. But no, Darwin should definitely have done better here, to be fair. Maybe Bobby should have shot, to be fair. But it is Bobby. You kind of have to expect him to pass in these situations nowadays.
He did get a bit greedy for a bit, though, didn't he? He started taking off shots, yeah.
He did. He loves that. When he gets fed up with people missing, I think he just goes in one of them. Yeah, but Darwin just has to score that. And the way the game was going, I think everyone would have wanted the 2-goal cushion, because, well, obviously, you'd want the 2-goal cushion, but unfortunately, he fixes his mistake by taking the harder chance later on, which probably is going to be a story of him.
Yeah, and no keeper saving that header, are they? I mean, the placement of it is just far corner. No one's getting anywhere near that. Powerful. Just incredible, and a great response as well, because I love the fact that it literally, I mean, like, obviously we went to half time, and obviously the analysis, and I'm sure you watched it on BT as well, were like, oh gosh, yeah, unfortunately, yeah, we had to deal with Steve McManaman. But the analysis was that, like Ajax should have been ahead then, they're going to rue those chances. Liverpool get a goal, oh, Darwin Núñez miss, and obviously that was under the microscope a fair bit. And that you saw, because Liverpool could have been 2-0 up, out of nothing, and it made a lot, light work of themselves. But literally Liverpool coming out at half time with that kind of response, I think within 5 minutes, Núñez scores. And, I love the fact that he gave an instant response straight away, because I feel like sometimes when those kind of things settle in, I don't know the psychology of a player, but if you cock up in life and you're hanging on with it for quite a while, it's great that he kind of responded straight away. And just talk to me about the player's performance, because I felt like he's a little ball of energy. I know he did that little stupid little dive thing where I was a bit frustrated with him, because he didn't, that's a bit embarrassing. I can't lie, I was a bit embarrassed by him by that. But as a whole, he is just, his agent's chaos.
He's just, what is it called? Is it a whirling dervish? It's sort of kind of what it reminds me of. He's just mental. It's just he only has one speed, and it is sprint as hard as he can. So he's probably going to get injured every game or so, because he'll just, I don't know, he might just have titanium South American hamstrings that are never break. No, he just doesn't have an off switch, does he? Like, he's going to be one of them relentless players that seemingly he only has two levels of play. He's either phenomenal or dreadful. It's just, obviously we will find a middle ground with him, but in the early stages of his Liverpool, he's just one of them where he either looks like one of the best players in the league, or he's missing an open goal from like 2 yards out.
Yeah.
It's weird, because I'm taking one of my WhatsApp groups. I'm taking the bit saying I don't rate him and stuff like that. He's clearly gonna be mint for us. Like, the finishing is weird at times, probably the right word. But then he'll pop up and take half volleys from 35 yards out with his weak foot, and it's like, wow, what are you doing? How have you done that whilst missing a tap-in, basically? But I think everyone's seen the numbers. I think he's got more goals than Gabby Jesus and about 500 less minutes or something like that. Obviously, very different players and different roles, etc. But the numbers are there. It's just about fitting him in the system, getting the off-ball stuff. But we saw he played centre-back, he tracked to centre-back yesterday at some point. Like,
he put in a defensive shift as well, didn't he?
Absolutely. And that's what you want to see. Obviously, you want to see the intricacies of pressing and all that jazz. But I want to see that from every Liverpool player at the minute, just not the new lads as well. So I really like him, and I think I said this after the Rangers game, where I said just roll with that front three at the time, but I think it was Jota that went before his injury, obviously.
Yeah.
I want to see Moore and Darwin just keep playing together. Obviously, Bobby's our only other forward option at the minute, and we don't have loads of options on the right wing. But if we play this diamond-y thing, whatever the hell it was, I think you got to pick them two, and then whoever behind. Bobby's definitely the best option, but you've got Carvalho as an option there. Elliot could probably play as a 10, but he's probably needed in midfield. We've obviously got Naby back, Touchwood, Ox back, who can play in any of them positions in midfield. So we are starting to get options back, so hopefully that limits Moore's minutes at right mid, because it just isn't him. So get them two together, and I think that'll be a really good partnership. I don't think they linked up too much yesterday, but we've seen in the past they can link up. But no, I really like Darwin. I just want to see more of him, because I think he just gives us something more unique. Because even his header, like, we targeted Ajax's set pieces in the first game. Obviously, we had Matic, who's 12 foot tall, and he got the winner. But Van Dijk bullied them that game. Matic bullied them that game. But in this game, Van Dijk's not allowed to score headers anymore, seemingly. But Darwin is just massive. He's one of them where he's not built like their striker was built like a tank.
Yes.
But Darwin just seemed to use his height better than he did. I think he bullied Gomez, to be fair to him, but Darwin used it more effectively, obviously, with the goal. But yeah, I just want to see more of him. It's probably my answer there.
Yeah, I think Brodbury kind of used it more as like a 90s forward, in my opinion, like being physically and muscular, as for Darwin was like trying to beat people with pace and trying
Big
to take
Kevin
on players.
Davies vibes.
Yeah, yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, so I know what you're trying to say there, where you can be physical, but it can be completely different in a sense. And if my memory serves me correctly, I'm pretty sure Darwin Núñez scored the header, the winning goal, the
To
header
knock them out,
against,
yeah.
yeah, to knock them out. So, nice little deja vu vibes for him and them there, but obviously in our colours, and we'll take that all day, every day. Right, we might as well talk about the last goal as well, and then we'll talk about some of the players that impressed you. I mean, talk about taking them to to putting the sword to them, because pretty much straight after that, Elliot with an absolutely delightful goal. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, lovely ball by Mosla, by the way, to find Elliot in an advanced position, and Elliot just runs off, and such a tight angle, and for him to kind of beat keeper near post and just smash it past him. I mean, I guess the keeper went down a little quick, but what I kind of noticed with Ajax, and I noticed this in the Napoli game as well, where their defence tends to shut off when they go behind. Certainly in Europe, I can't talk about them in Eredivisie,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like their defence is a bit questionable.
Are you that person who has everything? The coolest merch and those must-have fan threads? Well, over at our Anfield Index shop, we've gone that extra mile when it comes to pimping up your Liverpool collection. From our popular range of bespoke design t-shirts, sweaters, hoodies and hats, to our signature edition mugs, prints and coasters, all provided with fast worldwide shipping. We have something for every red. We also stock official LFC merchandise and are licensed with the Premier League and UEFA to sell official iron-on shirt badges and sleeve patches. As a listener to this podcast, you can get 10% off everything with coupon code AIPRO10. Just head over to AnfieldIndex.shop or find us on Etsy by searching for Anfield Index.
It looks it, because I think it's weird, isn't it? Because I think we both agree Timber had a good game, and I think Bassi had a individually good game, but as a collective, it just seemed to be a bit all over the place. It was very strange, because I think Bassi, whenever he had one-on-one defending to do, he did it really well, and Timber basically went box to box centre back for a bit. But just structurally, it just seemed all over. It was like, well, the first goal was embarrassing enough. Um, Corner, you can't really, like, you can do stuff about it. You just got to be taller. But that third goal, again, it's just nobody tracking Elliot. Salah dropping off, nobody tracking him. Really nice pass, to be fair, so you can't really defend that. But there's just spaces everywhere.
Yeah.
Obviously, maybe that's just the way you got to play. But if you're 2-0 down after having the better of most of the first half, maybe your head just does go. But I think we said this last week, like teams like Pilsen, Maccabi Haifa. I'll say the word minnows and be a bit harsh, but you're obviously the top dog in your league. But then you come into the Champions League and you're the minnow. You're the weaker team. You can't really swap it. And I realise I'm comparing Ajax to Victoria Pilsen, which is very disrespectful to a big team like Ajax, but relatively, yeah. Sometimes you just got to change it up. Maybe it doesn't work, but we saw Maccabi beat Juve. We've seen other shocks. We saw Sheriff beat Real Madrid last year. Sometimes you do have to change it up. You can't just, I know it's the Ajax way, football purist, all that jazz, but sometimes you just got to change it up, and you can't leave 20-yard gaps in your defensive line against teams like Liverpool, Napoli this season, obviously in the same group. So you do have to mix it up at times.
Yeah, and also new manager as well, isn't it?
Yes.
So there's also that you need to kind of factor in. You're absolutely spot on about, when teams don't really get pressed much in their league, and, teams tend to suffer. I mean, we're talking about, like you said, the minnows. Some of the big guns are guilty of this. I mean, look at Paris Saint-Germain just in general, in terms of they pretty much usually always walk the league. I mean, some can even argue that, Bayern Munich don't really get pressed much as well. I mean, I know they won the Champions League 2 years ago, but when you look at the squad that they've got and the quality that they've got, they should be in the mix way more than what they have been. So, I do feel like, even sometimes the bigger teams can be guilty of that as well. Certainly Paris Saint-Germain. But yeah, you're spot on. Yeah, it was a stunning goal by Elliot. I love that. I'm not gonna lie. When he took that shot, for me, I thought he'd missed it because it just felt too tight. I'm not gonna lie.
The commentator didn't help, did he? He just went, "Oh, he's put it all." No, he hasn't. It's gone in.
Yeah. It doesn't help when you've not got the best vision, people. Yeah. Stunning goal. I was so delighted for him. So so those were the goals, and I think at that point, the scoreline obviously was like, everything kind of calmed down a notch. But as a whole, which players impressed you on the night?
I think Richard, who did the man of the match, gave that to Robertson, and I'd probably agree. I think he was just constantly good. It was probably his best. The Man City game earlier the week, maybe, but I think this was probably his best all-round game in quite a while. To be fair, because he was just relentless going forward. He was very good defensively. Obviously, we had Henderson that side, and Darwin obviously drops off to the left side sometimes. So it's not like he had a classic winger to link up with, which he was used to with Mane and Diaz. So I think he just kind of dominated that left-hand side mostly by himself. So it's good to see him back, because I think we obviously had, everyone in Liverpool fandom had is Tsimikas ready for more mins, etc. And he probably is, but I think Robbo's come back from his injury, and he's just very well re-established himself as the dominant first choice left back, and deservedly so, because since he's come back, he's been very good. And I think that was his best performance in a while, his best complete performance in a while. So yeah, I pick Robbo. Is there anyone different for you who stood up?
No, I thought Robbo had a really good game. It's very interesting, 'cause I think Darwin Núñez had a really good game. I thought there was excitement till he was on, and also I noticed his defensive work as well. So I was watching a lot of that. I also was. It was nice to see Mo Salah get a goal and get an assist as well. I think that was important, given the fact that and I was really intrigued by that, and I love the fact that he was involved in like the important parts of the game, because obviously we watched the Forest game, right? And obviously we saw him pretty much just. Obviously didn't help with the setup, but no supply. He was very, very anonymous. So it's really, really important that those kind of players and the pacey players stay fit, first of all, stay confident and are fit and firing and can be an absolute menace, be it in Europe or in the league. So we need more Salah to, remember who he was. And it was great for him to get the goal and the assist. I mean, I'll give a little shout out to Alisson Becker as well. I mean, not massively, but a few saves in the first half. Again, I mean, they were easy saves, but just the fact that he was alert, he was sharp. But I thought Gomez kind of grew into the game. After I think he had a few difficult moments with Robbery, and then he seemed quite calm, and the defense looked quite settled. And they looked like what they were doing positionally in the awareness of things. So, and I think that could be largely down to the fact that when the scoreline kind of changed, I felt like maybe the pressure was less from the Ajax players. But as a whole, it was a strange one, because I'm just going to say it how it is. It wasn't a great performance. The result settled my nerves, if that makes sense. I don't think anyone went above and beyond. I don't think Fabinho was great again yesterday.
I'd probably put him similarly with Joe Gomez. I think the first 30 mins he had like an impossible task, and even the bits he could have done better. I think, that's where you look. I think losing out of tackles, panicky on the ball, but when the game settled down, I think he was mostly fine. But it again, I mentioned it, the starting bit. He has too much to do.
Yes,
even Fabinho from 3 years ago, when he was probably the best holding midfielder in the world at the time.
He had Ginny next to him as well, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So we had I don't think he could have done the job we're asking him to do. It's not just again, it's this season. We're asking him to do too much, and he's never been the most quick player. He can't cover the most ground. He's obviously good positionally, etc., good in the tackle, etc. We're just asking him to cover too much ground. Henderson on the left, it always looks weird. It just doesn't look natural. Obviously, the assist is fantastic, but in terms of general midfield play, it just doesn't look natural to him. And at 31, is he really going to change to a left centre mid now? Probably not. So obviously limited options, but I think once Thiago's back, once Naby's back, it'll help in that regard. And then if we keep to the midfield three, we'll have Henderson, we'll have Ox, we'll have Elliott on the right. So maybe it can go back to somewhat normality once we've got Thiago and Naby back and we get control in midfield. But Fabinho's getting asked to do way too much, I think. But it's a mix. Do I blame the system or do I blame him? It's somewhere in the middle because he's certainly not playing at his best in the moments as well.
And I think that's a fair assessment as well. It's never one or the other. And yeah, you're right. I mean, like playing alongside Henderson as well probably doesn't, like you said, he has too much to do. And I think there was a moment in the second half, I can't remember what minute it was, but Ajax got on a counter and literally our midfield was so much more advanced than their front men who were moving the ball to our defence. I mean, we cleared it and it was all fine and dandy, obviously, as the scoreline suggests, it finished 3-0. But, just little things like that there wasn't a deepest midfielder just there, to kind of like clean it and stuff. So, yeah, hopefully things do improve and things do get better. But let's kind of talk about another thing that happened in the game as well. I mean, quite ballsy by Klopp, but, given the nature of the scoreline, because obviously we've done all our goal scoring by 52 minutes, 63 minutes. Like you said, I'm really worried. You're worried about Darwin Núñez and the sprints and the injury. So he comes off. Jones comes on. And then obviously around about 71 minutes, Carvalho, Milner and Bajcetic come on for Fabinho, Jordan Henderson and Elliott. What did you make of those subs? Because I was just watching them with a keen eye. I just wanted to see what they were all about. And I was more intrigued about just kind of just seeing them, in the Champions League, certainly Bajcetic, because I think a lot of people, I think, I can't see us ever bang a midfielder. So
We're not allowed to.
Yeah, so you have to kind of look at what you've got. So I was just watching him and it was a nice game for him to kind of walk into, wasn't it? In the sense that what he did was he was being very, very safe. And I liked that. He wasn't trying to overexert himself, like put himself under the spotlight. He was just quietly just getting on with his job. If there wasn't a pass on, he'd play it short back to, like a Virgil van Dijk and stuff, just being very, very switched on in terms of keeping it to the basics.
Yeah, and then try to 30-yard shot out of nowhere.
Yes.
He does look like a nice little play. It's odd because I think he's still only 17, so we probably won't see him as a first teamer for another 2 seasons if he does make it as a first teamer, obviously. So it's just nice having these little previews of play because we had Morton last season or the season previous as well. Who we had in the past. Reece Williams popped up out of nowhere. Nat Phillips is 25, so maybe he can look count.
What would you count as a youngling, Guy Drinkel?
Out of nowhere. Well, we had Ben Davies. He came out of nowhere. So it is nice having this, but it's an odd one because is he going to be the long-term successor to Fabinho? Because if Fabinho keeps on this form, maybe we'll need a replacement sooner rather than later, which sounds really harsh, but Fabinho is one of my favourite players. But
yep, same.
If this keeps happening, we may have to look at that position. It's just the low socks for me. The low socks are just, he's got peak confidence to pull that off. He's watched Thiago in training. The low socks, the nice kit. He's got the full package, Nina, and he's going to be world class. That's how I'm feeling.
I love it. Right. Okay, there you go, people. You heard it here first on the Euro Incision podcast. And of course, we've got a bit of youth in there, and he threw in a bit of experience in James Milner, who did all right as well. But yeah, at that point to me, it just felt like Liverpool were just kind of going through the motions, just let's just there wasn't much pressure from Ajax in my opinion.
So were Ajax, to be fair.
Yeah, literally there was nothing. So it was just like, I'm just watching this for the sake of watching this because Liverpool are winning and I've got to do a show tomorrow. That was my mindset.
Yeah, same. It was like, well, when we recorded Raw yesterday, Eddie came on whilst we were waiting for everyone to get on. Just went, I just took the dog out and listened for the last half an hour. Nothing happened. So I was like, yeah, I would have done the same.
Yeah, the privilege. I mean, we could have switched it to another game. Where there was some exciting things happening.
Could have watched the Spurs madness.
Which we'll get to in a minute. Let's just quickly talk about. We'll just give a brief insight into Rangers being Rangers. Napoli 3, Rangers 0. I mean, I'm just going to briefly just give my thoughts on this. I don't think it needs analysis. It really doesn't. Not surprised. Rangers, you can just tell they're just not good enough. I mean, speaking of Napoli, though, they are pretty much cutthroat. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of goals that they're scoring. They seem to be doing it for fun, and they rested, I think, some players as well. But, I mean, how do you fancy their chances in the Champions League in general? And my next question to you, Guy, because both of us have qualified, can we realistically beat them by a 4-goal margin?
No, I would shake their hand for a draw next week. Um, I
Because that would
mean,
top us, right? If we beat them by a 4-goal
yes,
margin. Yeah, sorry.
yeah. I think if we beat them by three because they won 4-1, but
4-1, yeah.
I'm
You see
guessing if
the
we won like 3-0, it'd go to goal difference. So I'm guessing it would have to be 4-0.
yeah.
So yeah, no, it's not going to happen. I'm all right with if we just ring up them and just say, bring your under 23s, we'll bring our under 23s. Let's just have a banter one. We'll be on ESPN 4 or something like that in England. Um, I'd be fine with that, to be fair. Quick pod next week where we talk about lads we've never heard of. I'd be fine for me. But in terms of them going in terms of being a danger this season, you just have to say yes. I
Yeah.
mean,
They
they
carried us
battered
as
us. The
well,
batters.
yeah.
Yeah, it's that's the thing. You look at the rest of the Serie A team. Obviously, Juve is a dramatic case because they are dreadful. Milan have been struggling. Um, to be fair, Inter are doing well. They got through a difficult group. But the way they've just kind of swept aside this group, which was a difficult group on paper, because
Mm.
albeit Rangers' lack of quality, Ibrox is still a difficult place to go, and I'm sure they went there, as did we, to be fair, and just absolutely tonked them. They're so dangerous. I mean, Georgian lad name I can't say.
Kvaratskhelia.
Yes, him.
I will put some practice into that. I can't say John, but I can say
Yeah,
Kvaratskhelia. There you go.
absolutely. So they've got him, Simeon. Oh my God, what?
Raspadori. They've got
Yeah.
some good players.
What's the Fulham midfielder called? I can't bloody remember his name.
Oh God.
Not Kessie.
Oh gosh, his name's on the tip of my tongue. Oh my God. Oh my God. I know who you mean. Oh, he was. Oh, fuck's sake. He scored last week.
Napoli midfield. Anguissa.
That's it,
Anguissa.
and Gisa.
Zambo. There he is.
Yes.
I did it. As soon as I clicked it, I remember. Yeah, he seems to have taken a really big jump and is very good. They've got people like Ndombele just there for fancy
And they've
goals,
got a
even.
quiet midfielder like Lobotka who just quietly just gets
Yes,
on with it, you know,
absolutely.
like who just goes unnoticed, but he's so instrumental in what they do. Yeah, I have to agree with you, Guy. They look like a really fun team. I mean, like it must be great being a Napoli supporter right now. That's
Mm,
all I'll say. You know, with the summer that they had with the big mass exodus of some of them legendary players. But yeah, I think a lot of teams that finish runners up will not be fancying, will not be looking forward to that game, and obviously hostile away trip as well. So, yeah, Liverpool beat them 4-0. Actually, I don't care. You're through. It's fine. It is what it is. Right? You give a little spoiler alert to Spurs. So let's go to that group. This group is wide open, people. Oh my God. What on earth is going on? So let's talk about the Spurs game. Spurs won, Sporting Lisbon won. I mean, their former homeboy Marcus Edwards sticks it to them pretty early. I mean, I liked his goal. I like the fact that he took it from just past the centre circle and just kind of takes on Højbjerg and then just dribbles in and just puts it past long distance low range shot past Lloris. Nice stuff. Keeper's having a bit of a mare, we will agree on that,
just a bit, yeah.
just a bit, is carried on into Europe. And then, of course, Bentancur with a header makes the last 10 minutes tasty for Spurs. It's something you don't hear every day, eh? They seem to be doing a lot of that. But then, Guy, our game finished, and I think we went to live footage of what was going on there, right? Because 4 minutes of injury time, and they were looking at a goal that Spurs have scored, and Harry Kane celebrating like a madman. He thinks he's done it for the home crowd, but gets ruled off for offside by VAR. And obviously, a lot of people kicking off. There was a lot of debate saying the ball was played behind, but I think the reason why it got ruled offside was, correct me if I'm wrong, is because Harry Kane was in front.
I still have no idea. I've watched
I,
it. I've watched it a
yeah,
few times. I'm like, is he? I don't understand. It's just, uh, it doesn't look offside to me. If just as a layman and you just look at a goal and think, is that offside? It just doesn't. Like I don't think I understand the offside rule anymore.
I can be honest with you, same here. There was a time when I just knew it, and now
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm confused as hell. But I think that's because I've been like trying to get like loads of things. I think what they're trying to say is obviously when the ball was played, obviously it deflects off a Sporting defender, right? And when it
Mhm.
deflects off, I think it's because Harry Kane was in a more advanced position than the ball and the defender or some bullshit. I don't even know, but VAR said it's not good enough. But you know what? I will laugh my ass off because Harry Kane celebrating and, you know, shit going sideways. Antonio Conte sees red, gets a red card. Drama, people. And we're here for it. And in the other game, Guy, Frankfurt 2, Marseille 1. I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. I think Guendouzi's goal was absolutely sensational. Peter Cross, stunning volley. I loved it. Kamada got Frankfurt's goal and Guendouzi levels things up. And then Frankfurt take the lead again. But I want to get your thoughts on this now. Spurs are 8th, play Marseille on 6 points away. Sporting and Frankfurt both on 7, and Sporting host Frankfurt on the last day. No team has qualified yet.
Pure Europa League vibes. I like it.
See, if I was doing a show and if I could be one of those casual people, I would be watching this group. Can't lie.
Oh God, yeah, you definitely would, because this is just the one where everyone just went, nah, I don't want to go through. You go through. Every other group's basically done by figuring out who finishes second, maybe in some of them. I think there's like Leipzig and stuff like that to sort out. But yeah, this is just the one that's left that is just like everything to play for, and everyone can go through. I have no idea what the reverse scores was, but it's going to be an odd one because Spurs are horrid at the minute.
Yes, they have come in. Obviously, the loss to Newcastle of the weekend, and before that, I thought they got absolutely battered by Man United. I think United they just played them off the park. So yeah. Spurs doing a Spursy, and will they do it on the last game day of the Champions League? Watch this space, people. Very interesting stuff, right? So we spoke about that one, Guy. I mean, this group pissed me off, and I'm just going to talk about it in general. I want to hear your thoughts. So Inter 4, Pilsen 0. Nice little fact. Ex-players that played in Manchester were all on the score sheet for Inter. Mkhitaryan, Dzeko with 2, Lukaku with 1. I did my research there, people. Analysis. But yeah, it finished 4-0. But you know what really pissed me off about this guy is the fact that it was the early kickoff, and we knew whatever happened would impact how the Barca score and the result as well, because obviously like Barca went into that game and they are hosting Bayern Munich. That should have been a tasty game, throwing everything to it, and they come out knowing that they're out of the Champions League, and that kind of pissed me off a little. I know you can't really deal much with the scheduling, but that I feel like that just pissed me off, and I can't imagine the psychology of the Barca players as well, like going out having to play Bayern Munich and you're like, well shit, we're already out. Like, I don't even know, like, does that even affect their... I mean, to be fair, they had 0 shots on target, but
I was going to say, when I was watching the highlights, there was one Barcelona highlight and it was the called off penalty, and I was like, good lord, what was happening here?
But did that vex you as well? Because that on paper seems like a really tasty game, doesn't it? Like, this was a group of death. The Barca Bayern game, like, if there was like not that shadow over it that Barca are out because Inter won, you look forward to that kind of game, right?
No, I do agree. I think if you're looking, Champions League's built on drama. It's basically Coronation Street for the masses.
Yes.
It really should have been at the same time, because it puts pressure on. Maybe Pilsen get an early goal in if it's a later kickoff or whatever, and then crowd gets up, Barcelona fans get up. We've all seen them scenes, whether it's the Premier League or whatever. You've seen one set of fans in a different stadium just all go mental, the others just on the verge of tears. That's the kind of stuff football's built on, and they're the memorable moments. But just for Inter to just go 4-0, and then Barcelona trot out a team with Marcus Alonso at centre back against Bayern Munich. Jesus.
Choupo-Moting doing bits and Sadio Mane.
It's just, I can't believe
I know.
All the stuff Barcelona have bought. Marcus Alonso playing centre back.
Bellerin as well in the defence.
Oh my god.
Ah.
Oh my god, what a horrendous team. To be fair, no, playing that team by Munich or winning whatever
You
the
deserve
hell was happening,
it.
screams
You
rather.
deserve it.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
that is dreadful.
It is absolutely dreadful. Right, let's I mean, like, it's very strange, isn't it? Like, teams like that are going to be in Europa again, and obviously we'll talk about which teams make Europa next week when everything's like final. But obviously their fate has been decided, and Juve as well potentially as well. We'll talk about that group because that's a bit wide open as well in terms of both teams can finish top and both teams can end up in Europa in Maccabi Haifa and Juve. So that's quite an interesting one as well, right? Atletico Madrid, Leverkusen. 2-2 it finished, but again, I think for me, the drama was at the end, right? Penalty after the final whistle had gone, because VAR was checking it. Carrasco penalty missed. Obviously, keeper saves it. There was a follow-up shot from Sula. He rattles the crossbar, which rebounds back into play, and then another player just fires it wide. But Atletico Madrid, man, and a Leverkusen. I mean, nice to see Xavi Alonso, maybe having some kind of stamp on this team.
It's just now that's what football's about. Is after the final whistle.
Yes, the drama.
That's what we need. That's Coronation Street times a million. Oh God. It's just what can you say? I was going to bring him up later on as my Alvi Moreno player, but Carrasco, man, misses a penalty, then blocks the rebound of his own player. Oh, but no, it's nice to see Xavi doing well because I think after his debut, it's not gone swimmingly.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice to get somewhat of a big result. I think they are out, but they can still get the Europa League next week. I'm not sure which way they're playing, but
I think I've got those notes here. Yeah, and of course it finished Bruges 0. Oh my God, last week they were still to concede in the Champions League. Porto 4. So that group is, as things stand, Guy. I think I made some notes. Right, Bruges top it with 10, obviously. Porto second with 9. Atletico 5, who go away to Porto. Need a win, but a point will do if Leverkusen lose or draw to Bruges, who are currently on 5. So basically, Leverkusen have to win to put any kind of pressure on Atletico Madrid to get to win as well. But you were talking about your player of Thiggy, and yours was Carrasco. Mine actually was Diogo Costa, the goalkeeper for Bruges, because obviously Porto make it 1-0 and Bruges get a penalty. And Diogo Costa, the goalie for Porto, saves it. They have to retake it again because a lot of Porto defenders kind of encroach the box. So they have to retake it, and he saves it again. And I think that's very, very crucial because important time of the game. I like that. That was a nice little thing. I was quite impressed with some keepers. I'll speak about another one in a minute. But yeah, so those were the games on Wednesday. Guy, on Tuesday, we have the luxury of just kind of randomly watching one game as and when we can. And I want to go straight into the one I watched. Because like you said, some of these are full-blown conclusions. So I went to the Juve game. 4-3 it finished against Benfica, but can I just say something? That result and that scoreline so flattered Juve is actually disgusting. I can't even lie. 4-3 it finished, but Juve were absolutely disgraceful. I mean, like they were behind within minutes, and then Vlahovic pulls one back, but then it was kind of sad because Cuadrado gets pulled back for like a penalty that kind of touches his hand, but
that was never a penalty.
Yeah, it was such close proximity, and like I felt like that again. That affected the game. They get a penalty, they score. Stunning penalty, by the way. Really, really nice technique. But I think then at that point it was like game over, and they go into that half at 3-1, and then obviously it's 4-1, and then Juve pull on some kind of comeback, but I think the scoreline massively flattered Juve because for me it felt more like Benfica just switched off in those moments. They look very comfortable, they're like cruising, but Juve are absolutely dreadful. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, every time I listen to other podcasts, the European Roundup one, it's will Juventus sack Allegri this week? And the answer.
I don't think they can though. They can't, can they?
That's the thing, and I think Agnelli's never sacked a manager mid-season. So it's just like you're gonna have to change it at some point. 'Cause I'm not sure where Juve sit in Serie A, but it's not first, so it's not acceptable for a team like Juve. I know it's a dreadful Juve team, but this is Juventus who won, was it 9 in a row?
Mm.
It's just I don't understand. I don't understand how one bad signing of Cristiano Ronaldo has set them on this course of dreadful.
Well, you know what? This will seem familiar to you. They are currently 8th with 19 points.
To be fair, I think we're not. Liverpool aren't as bad as Juve, to be fair.
No,
So
no, they're
it
not.
can always be worse. It just looks rudderless. It's weird. It looks rudderless, but it just looks like a lack of quality as well.
Yeah, and very old and like,
Yeah.
Rabiot and things like not being invested. And I don't know, it just feels very stale.
Yeah.
Very stale. And the fact that Bonucci's still playing as well. And obviously we know his buddy, his partner in crime now is playing football in States. But yeah, I mean, I think they're playing a 3-man defense or something. There was something very, very strange, but they were getting outdone. And that's one thing you don't see for Juve or certainly Italian teams. Like stereotypically, like we always speak about this, but defensively they were absolutely shambolic. They were being played through, they were being played around, the midfield was being bypassed. You know, that scoreline so flattered them. I can't even like lie about it. It was just awful, absolutely awful. I don't even know what to say about it. It was horrendous. Quadrado was having an absolute mare as well. Like every touch, it was just awful. It was just absolutely awful.
His head seemed to go on the penalty as well, didn't
it? Yes, because I remember he's getting more and more angry as things were happening. So yeah. So they look like, well, they were at the Champions League. But let's move on to the next one. PSG 7, Maccabi Haifa 2. I mean, Messi with a couple of gorgeous goals. Mbappe gets 2 as well. Neymar gets in on the scoring as well. I think there's an own goal and one of the other players that name fails.
Soler, I think it was.
Thank you, gets the goal. But what's really interesting about this group, Guy Drinkel, is the fact that both PSG and Benfica are equal on points, and Juventus and Maccabi Haifa are equal on points. And I think Juve have to host. I think they have to host Paris Saint-Germain, and Benfica will play Maccabi. But again, all to kind of play for everyone if they want something.
Well, here's the question for you, then. Would you rather play Juventus in Turin, or would you rather play Maccabi in Israel? I think I'd rather play Juventus in Turin.
True, actually.
Israel's terrifying.
Yeah. On paper, you would say I'd go to Maccabi Haifa, play there, but the way things are going right now, yes. I think PSG might have it a little easier. And, on a side note as well, I think Messi is doing absolute bits. It feels like he's old Messi. Last season, I felt like he looked a bit despondent. Maybe it was a new move and everything because he's just been Barca boy for so long. But lovely goal from him as well. I'm just going to put that out there. For me, that was probably the goal. The one that he takes from the outside of his foot on the right hand side. The first one that he scores, stunning. To me, that's just vintage Lionel Messi. But yeah, so that's that group. Guy, which other game and group do you want to talk about? Because I thought this one was really, really interesting, and I'm talking about the game for Chelsea. I mean, they won 2-1, right?
Yeah.
And I thought 2 stunning goals made it for them. Absolutely 2 stunning goals. And pretty much killed the game as well. But they had a few chances in the first half, and they could have, if they'd taken their chances like Ajax, I don't think, Salzburg come out like that. But what the fuck? They come out and they get an equaliser, but their goalkeeper had an absolute worldie. Again, that's when I talk about I'm impressed by goalkeepers. He was one that I was very impressed with. And it seems like Potter's football seems to be doing okay with Chelsea. He's doing a lot of rotating, but I think Gallagher getting a quick run of games as well, quite consistently as well, and doing it in Europe and actually look pretty decent. Fair play to him.
He just seems to, I don't know, it just seems a lot more harmonious than what it was under Tuchel. Like, I think when it happened, I think everyone was like, I think most people were like, Tuchel's better than Potter. But maybe Potter's just a better fit, because everyone seems happier. More people are getting chances. Havertz seems to have improved. Kovacic seems to massively improved, or just seems to be getting more of a run of games. He's playing Sterling, and Pulisic at wing back, and it's working.
Mm.
I couldn't do that on Football Manager. I probably couldn't do that on FIFA, and that's me playing the game. It's just I think he's just a really good manager, and he may improve, he may streamline it a bit, and may actually take the easy chances, not depend on scoring 2 worldies. But no, it is. I think that's why quite a lot of Liverpool fans, wishful thinking, obviously, when Klopp does go, whenever he decides to go, hopefully after a happier season than the one we're currently having. I think that's why everyone had Potter, maybe not top of the list, but they had him on the list. And you can see why now, because the football they played, especially in that first half, just seemed really excellent. It just seemed competent. It seemed controlled. Yeah, the odd moment. I think Kepa had a moment of Kepa-ness where he tried to punch a ball and it like had the force of a toddler. I think Silva just put it out behind.
Oh yeah, he anticipated it, didn't he? He knew what
yeah.
was going to happen, and that was really smart by him actually, because he didn't look flustered or anything.
Yeah.
You know, he just kind of tracked back and just cleared it off the line.
Absolutely. So yeah, he seems to be giving everyone a chance. Gallagher, who we know had a really good season at Palace, he just seems odd. Like he seems versatile enough to just play. He could probably make him into a wing back. He can play in midfield. I think he played as a 10 in this one, going off the lineup. But then you've got people like Mount's improved. I think everyone just seems to have improved. Sterling's playing wing back and he looks better than he was under Tuchel. It's really good to see. But to be fair, Salzburg in the second half improved quite a bit. Okafor looks like a good player. I probably pronounced that wrong. The lad who scored, he made a goal line clearance.
Adamu,
well.
yes, he scored and then did a goal line clearance. Yes, he did. That's a shout out as well. The goalkeeper, my word, some of the saves.
He was excellent. He was really, really good.
Beaten
never heard of him before.
Beaten by 2 excellent shots as well, where he done
unsavable. That Kovacic one was my goal of the round.
Didn't it remind you of Liverpool though? That's why I hate it.
It did. I think the Liverpool one was more extreme because it just came out of nowhere, but this one just is. Maybe that's just his goal. He's just spooning stuff with his weak foot, and it looks amazing. But maybe it is just a fluke. But it's odd. It looks rare. That's how I'd word it. Because the Havertz one is like nice, but I see that like every weekend. Whereas the Kovacic spooning one with his wrong foot just looks so weird. It's excellent. But no, Kovacic is. I think a couple seasons ago, everyone was saying he's one of the best midfielders in the league, and he's probably getting back to that level now. So that's good for Chelsea fans. He's just the ideal Klopp midfielder, which is really annoying as well.
Yeah, don't hurt us anymore, Guy.
Yeah.
Enough. We're not getting anything. Well, we'd like to be proven wrong. Right, so listeners, just so you're aware, Kovacic's goal is Guy Drinkel's choice. Mine is Lionel Messi's first goal against Maccabi Haifa. Check them out. Let us know your thoughts. Which was your goal of the round? And Guy, Milan finished 4-0 against Dinamo Zagreb. You pretty much expected that. Milan versus Salzburg will be tasty next week because obviously Chelsea are through now.
Yes. Which stadium is it? Oh, that's probably a good question.
I think it's
in Milan, so yeah, that'll be interesting. Does home and away matter anymore? It doesn't really seem to matter other than Anfield, maybe. Everything else just seems random. So maybe it might be a nice thing for Salzburg to do it at the San Siro. That'll be a huge game because again, that's probably other than Chelsea, obviously. That group is still got a lot to play for, so can they all still go through? I don't think Zagreb can go through unless they beat Milan like 5-0, the reverse fixture. So yeah, that'll be a big game between them.
Look at you sniggering, and on a side note for you there as well, your boy Leao got a goal for Milan as well, didn't he? So yeah, I thought I'd give that a special shout out.
6'4" wingers, you can't go wrong.
You go, tried and tested. The Guy Drinkel approves. I mean, Celtic won, Shakhtar won. We already spoke Mudryk. I think he's going to be a player that everyone kind of looks at. I think that goes without saying. We spoke about the miss.
I lost it again in the background there. It's definitely that one.
Okay, so it's confirmed. It is confirmed, people. The sick and miss is far worse than Darwin Núñez, so rest easy. And if you've not checked it out, go and check it out. Your jaw will drop. Leipzig 3, Madrid 2. I'm not really surprised. I mean, there was no Benzema Valverde in this one. A lovely goal by Nkunku and stuff, smashed it into the roof of the net. That was quite nice as well. I just thought Timo Werner scores as well. I thought of you. He did get a goal, but it finished 3-2. I thought it was just pretty much standard stuff. I mean, Real Madrid were through. This game didn't intrigue me in the slightest like that.
Yeah, I think if there was more on the line, I think you'd be like, oh, massive. It probably is one of Leipzig's biggest results in history, because I know they're relatively new as RB Leipzig. I mean, they beat United, but beating Real Madrid, regardless if it's a slightly rotated Real Madrid, it doesn't matter. It's beating Real Madrid. So it is probably one of their biggest results. I'm just getting their team up and just seeing how rotated it was.
Just a few big players. I think Benzema played, and I don't think Valverde played.
Yeah, basically, and Alaba wasn't there as well, or Carvial. So a bit of it wasn't exactly out to play the under-23. So yeah, it's a big result. It's a big result.
Look at me downplaying because I'm so unimpressed, and look at Guy Drinkel there bigging up. But yeah, and also the new manager as well. So new manager, Rose doing quite well there for Leipzig in the Champions League. What is the state of play in that group? Let me just quickly check. Table. Yeah, it looks like Leipzig are through and Shakhtar Donetsk. Yeah, I think that's Leipzig are through in my opinion.
Leipzig can, yeah, they'll be through. Did they play each other? They play. If my laptop would stop being slow.
Let's have a look. Who do Leipzig play next? Oh, hang on.
It's in Shakhtar.
Oh, that could be
Leipzig,
yeah.
So I'm not sure what the reverse fixture would have been.
Let me have a look. I'll right. Is it who am I looking for? Shakhtar beat them 1-4 at Leipzig. So that's where the manager got sacked.
Okay. So if Shakhtar win, they go through.
Shit. So Leipzig have to beat them away. Oh, it is quite tasty then. That might be a game to watch.
That might be one to watch, and it's early, so we can't know. It's the opposite day to Liverpool, so we can watch it anyway.
Yeah, we can watch it, and I'm guessing it will be early, right?
Yeah, it's in. I'm guessing it's in Poland.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it will be in Poland.
All right, so that one's done. Right, last group. I mean, like, is it even like anything? Let's even look at it. Sevilla 3, Copenhagen 0. I expected that. Even Sevilla should come through against Copenhagen. Dortmund City finished 0-0. I mean, City are through. Dortmund on 8 there. Sevilla with 5, who I think have to play. Let me have a look. I think they have to play City at home. I don't see much happening.
I think Dortmund are through.
I think so as well. Yeah, I think so as well. So yeah. Done and done. Right, Guy. That was the Champions League. I thought it was quite a fun round. I like this stage where things have been put to bed, but there's still some things to play for.
Yeah, we just got to look at the Spurs group. Like, everything else is kind of boring, except maybe the Shakhtar Leipzig game, and it's just like Spurs. Can they Spurs their Spursiness? Which makes no sense, but everyone will understand what I just said.
Everyone understands. Everyone watching football is nodding right now and sipping on their coffee. Guy Drinkel. Guy, you picked your goal. Who was your man of the week, or like the round?
So funny man of the round was Carrasco, because that was hilarious. I suppose it has to be a goalkeeper, doesn't it? Seeing as they had mad ones. Kobel was very good against City for Dortmund by the looks of it. I can't remember the Salzburg lad's name. Was it Korn or something?
Korn, yeah.
Korn, yeah.
And Costa for Porto with the double penalty save. So goalies are making a comeback.
They absolutely are. Maybe I picked Diogo Costa because that game against us where it was basically match fixing. It's the redemption arc he needed. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go. No, I'll go with the young lad who scored for Benfica. I think it was his first Benfica goal. Was it Silva? Is it Andrea Silva, the young centre back? I'll go with him. That. Albeit it is Juventus, but it's a nice moment for a young lad to.
It is actually. It really is, and it was actually a stunning goal as well.
Yeah. I'll go with him.
I like that. I completely forgot. Yeah. Okay. I am going to give it to goalkeeper. Now I'm struggling which one. I thought Cohen put in a really, really great performance, but his team did lose. But then Diogo Costa keeps his team in it. So I think I'm going to go with saving a spot, saving a penalty from the spot twice. So I'm going to give it to Diogo Costa, although he wasn't technically the best player on the pitch for Porto. So there you go, people. So yeah, that's my hipster shout. Right, Guy, we are pretty much done, and we've done it in quite good time as well. Normally, you and I ramble forever. I mean, is there anything you want to get off your chest on the Champions League? Now's the time to do it, because then you can't speak about it again, ever.
Well, I can speak about this because it'll translate into the Premier League as well. Mahrez is kind of finished.
Oh, penalty miss, right?
I don't know why he's ever allowed to take penalties again that when you're not 4-0 up. Because that lad, he got a new... I think when people say gets a new contract and relaxes, I think we're looking at Riyad Mahrez there, because he has done nothing this season, because he is in one of my draft teams. He has done nothing. I think I binned him for like Ollie Watkins or something like that, which sums up how his season is. Yes. Yeah.
He got in over the weekend though, didn't he? Came through for you.
To be fair, I think I then binned Watkins for Scamacca, so no.
Yeah. And Scamacca started doing well, or did you bin him as well? Good, okay.
I blame Gerrard for that. So, yeah, absolutely.
Nice. Okay, that was really, really random, but yeah, Mahrez, not looking. Yeah, I have to. Yeah, missed the penalty. He did that against us once at the beginning of the season. I remember.
He did. Good times.
Good times. Right, guys, that is the Euro Incision podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Join us again next week, where we will be, it'll be the last time we're discussing the groups and who makes Europa League, and, our final say on the whole situation and who we would fancy in the groups, in the knockout stages. But guys, thank you so much for listening. Guy, before I let you go, I mean, they know where to find you, but in case you live under a rock, where can people find you?
So at Guy Drinkel on the Twitter machine, I will be tagged in half the stuff on AI, unfortunately for you. Although no, Trev's back now, so I'll be less of me, which is always good for you people.
Never. Right, carry on.
Rate Don't Hate. I'm gonna say we'll be back because I'm not
hard,
hosting.
Isn't it?
It is. It was weird because doing Raw then Rate Don't Hate, it almost felt like I'm doing the same show twice. So I kind of put it on pause, but I'll try and bring that back. But other plug, we've got loads of, we're trying to redo the writing side of the site. So there's loads of new writers, there's loads of new content. And if anything's wrong, go shout at Sam Maguire is basically my shout for that. It's not my fault, it's his fault. So check out all the new writers and new content. And Stephen Smith has written about 70 articles in about 2 days. So check all them out.
Yeah, and old school people who follow the AI will be really, really impressed with Steve Smith's input there, because he's giving Sam Maguire room for his money, because everyone knew how many articles Sam Maguire used to put out there. And you know what, just a quick one on Sam Maguire. For me, he produced the tweet of the night. Did you read it?
I probably didn't, because I had to jump straight on Raw.
Yeah. No, he did it whilst
okay.
Darwin said simple tap-ins are for Norwegian robots.
Oh, I did see that. Yes, that's fantastic.
I love that.
Darwin doesn't do simple.
Yeah.
That's why we like him more.
Yes. Right, guys, for my part, I will be back post-match with the Nina Carter Show. Do check out all Guy Drinkel's content, and head over to our articles. They're phenomenal. And we will be back next week talking about Europe again, which will be fun. So take care till next time. Up the Reds.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.